Welcome to the Selfish Year series. This is my year-long series where I am walking you through what it looks like to be a selfish woman, how to do it, how to be it, and I am your guide because we are ready to be selfish in 2026. Women, we are talking about it, and I know selfish is a confronting word. Honestly, that's why I'm using it because it confronted me in ways that I desperately needed. And I know it will confront you too. As long as you can stay open, stay curious, let's go on this journey together. Ask me questions. And I thought I'd start today by talking about how I'm redefining the word selfish for women. Because we've been conditioned by the patriarchy, by religion, by our parents, our teachers, social media, culture. We've been conditioned to be selfless, that is how a woman is meant to live. And if you are a selfless woman, you are a good woman. If you are a selfless woman, you give to everybody else and everyone admires you and you are doing life right. No, it didn't work for me. Being a selfless woman left me overwhelmed, exhausted, in toxic relationships, an empty shell of myself, thinking I was doing everything right, and honestly just feeling dead inside. I used to call myself the walking dead, alive from the neck up, going through the motions of life, but really devoid of joy, compassion, kindness, generosity. I was living on fumes and thinking that that was a life. So by redefining selfish, I am using a word that is going to confront us with our old rules, the old tropes, the old beliefs that we need to start undoing. And that's why I'm doing an entire year of this Selfish Year series, because I am going deep. We are going to go deep into this, you guys. And I invite you to connect in the comments, share this with your friends, because we are going for it in 2026. And I'm going to show you why being selfish is not only the key to your own transformation into living a life that you're proud of and that lights you up, that makes all your dreams come true, but also because it's going to make you a generous giver, a joyful giver, and an impactful leader, whether that's parenting your children, leading in your family, leading in your community, leading in your business, your career, whatever it is. It is time for women to take our place, to step up, to take responsibility for our own healing and transformation and become the women we need to be in order to have everything we want and in order to take our place as leaders in the world. So, all of that to say, let's start with my definition of selfish. You know, we can redefine words anytime we want. We've done it through history. We take words that used to mean one thing and we turn them into another. I am redefining selfish for women. And I thought I would start by reading the definition that's in my book, The Selfish Year, which if you haven't got it yet, make sure you get my book. You can buy it wherever you get your books. I'll also have a link in the notes. But this is really your guide as we go through the Selfish Year series. And I am going to be doing a deep dive into a lot of the principles and theories and ideas in the book this whole year. But I thought I'd start by reading my definition of selfish. Let's do it, shall we? All right, selfish definition number one, the radical act of honoring your truth, needs, and desires without guilt or apology. Number two, choosing self-trust over people-pleasing, even when it's uncomfortable. Number three, a sacred rebellion against martyrdom, self-abandonment, and invisibility. And number four, the foundation for generous, joyful, sustainable giving born from overflow, not obligation. So that is how I start out my book, because I decided to choose selfish for my word for 2020, which I was embarrassed about. I didn't want to tell anybody about, but that word would not leave me alone. And it has become the foundation for an extraordinary life that I've created for myself. And I thought today I would talk about the top 10 ways being selfish changed my life and how it can change your life too. Let's get into it. All right. Number one reason why being selfish changed my life, I stopped abandoning myself. I stopped abandoning myself to be chosen, to be loved, to be accepted. I stopped abandoning myself for everybody else's happiness and everybody else's comfort. And that one thing changed my whole life, because being selfish means I stay with myself and I don't abandon myself. And I learn what it feels like and what it looks like to live in devotion to myself and to never abandon myself. That one thing changed my whole life. Number two, I left a marriage that was killing my spirit. And I talk about this in the book. I didn't know when I was married, but I was in an emotionally abusive marriage. And that, number one, the self-abandonment, that kept me in an emotionally abusive marriage. And so when I got selfish, I learned and realized what was really going on. And I had the conviction and the clarity and the courage to leave that marriage. And I also stopped waiting for a good enough reason because, as much as it was emotionally abusive, it was like, well, he's not cheating on me. He's not hitting me. He's a good person. He was. But I realized that I have to be the reason. My happiness needs to be the reason for me leaving. And that's a good enough reason. I became the reason. Number three, I stopped apologizing for taking up space. Being selfish taught me that I don't have to shrink to be loved. I don't have to make myself smaller to be accepted. I don't have to be palatable and pleasing to everybody else. And I had lived most of my life that way, shape shifting so that I didn't rock the boat. I didn't ruffle feathers. I didn't make anybody else uncomfortable. I get to expand, I get to take up space. And because I am being selfish, my self love is enough. And when I allow myself to be the biggest version of myself, guess what? That love comes in, that acceptance comes in, and it comes in from the right people who get you. Number four, I actually started doing what I wanted to do. Sounds simple, right? But not so much. If you are conditioned to be a people pleaser, a self-abandoner, a self-betrayaler, not so much. We do what we think we should do. I lived most of my life doing what I thought I should do, and it did not work. So I started doing what I actually wanted to do. I gave myself extravagant permission to do what felt right for me for that whole year. And what I learned and realized was when I do that, everything works out because I'm not doing what feels safe. I'm doing what feels alive. Number five, I became magnetic. Now, look, we are all magnets. You are always manifesting, you are always attracting, but are you attracting what you want in your life? You are being the wrong part of the magnet if you are not getting what you want in your life. And I had to learn how to become magnetic to the things that were meant for me. The feelings, the money, the career, the choices, the people, the relationships, all of it. I had to learn how to become magnetic. And how I did that was by being selfish. And the more I chose myself, the more I prioritized myself, the more the right people, the right opportunities, the ideas started showing up, the creativity started showing up because being selfish made me a signal and helped me to get into flow in a way that aligned with my soul. Number six, I built a business around my truth. Now, I've been a life coach for 11 years, and I have done a lot of different things throughout that time and in my business. But once I started being selfish, my whole business model changed, my whole methodology changed, how I served my clients changed, everything changed because now I was operating from truth and not shoulds, not fear, not anxiety, not worry, not doing what everybody else was doing. I all of a sudden got very clear on what my truth was, and I stopped performing and I started actually creating my own blueprint of my own life and my own business, and it worked. Number seven, I found my voice and I started using it. Being selfless, I didn't want anyone to hear what I had to say. What if they judge me? What if they don't like me? I didn't want to be seen. I really was wanting to disappear and hide and be invisible. So being selfish really forced me to have to find my voice, get clear on what my values were, my opinions, what do I actually believe, and then actually start saying it out loud, first to myself before anybody else. My whole life, I had believed that what I had to say didn't matter. And when I started being selfish, I started really taking my healing seriously. And I started unlocking these parts of me and changing my belief system around my value, my worthiness, and that what I say does matter. It doesn't have to matter to everybody. It just needs to matter to me. And then the people who also think what I have to say matters, find me, right? And so, like, even now, like, I will speak the truth. It's still scary sometimes, but now I know that when I do it, everything aligns. Everything that I want happens, and the right people find me. Number eight, I became a generous giver. And I became the mother that I'd always wanted to be. And the reason I put those two things together is because, I was a burnt out mom. I was exhausted and I wasn't giving my full self to my kids. And when I started getting selfish, I was able to actually model to them what it looks like to be a strong, independent, powerful woman, but also what it looks like to be a joyful giver because I was giving to myself first and filling up my own cup. Then I was able to give to my kids from overflow. And that changed everything. That energy made me excited to give to them, whether it was like helping them move or